think we live, mate.
Hmm?
I think we're live, mate.
That was amazing.
How's it going, guys? Welcome to the Q&A.
That is the best start we've had so far.
There's going to be a meme of my face. All right. Anyways, today we have Mod Matt K,
All right.
Mod John C,
Hello.
Mod Ash, Mod Reach, and myself. Today we have a bit of a trading post special. So we have the first, I think, 5 or 6 questions are all about the trading post. Then we get into the others. And in the end, we're talking about Dragon Claws. All right. First question. This one's from Crymore LOL. When can we expect to see automatic trading pulled?
So, as we said in the news post yesterday, we would like to do more with the trading post. It's a very bare bones thing for the moment. And the reason it's a bare bones thing is that we offered all the different features that a trading system could have, such as automatic trading and offline trading, and none of them passed. In fact, offline trading failed quite dismally, with under 50% of people supporting offline trading for people who've been offline 6 hours plus. So that's why it ain't there now. And yeah, in the new year, we're going to be offering to expand the trading post into something more than it currently is. What that is up to you guys. Now, from our point of view, one of the simplest things we could do is turn it into a full GE with the automatic trading and offline trading, etc. We could probably do that with the engine features we have now. On the other hand, not everyone wants a full GE. Offline trading is relatively controversial. Like we say, we polled it before and it did very badly. So it could be that's not the way it's going to go. And that's fine by us as well. It's worth noting, if you had automatic trading, you've pretty much got a GE, even if it doesn't work offline, because there's not a very big line between something that does automatic trading and, well, what the GE was, give or take its offline capacity. So anyway, if that don't pass, then a simpler thing we could do is let you send a trade request through the trading post to people who are in a bank on the same world so that you can trade with them manually, but you can do it without having to meet up in game. Might make a bit of a difference, especially in the crowds of World 1 Varrock. These are the things we are looking to poll early in the new year. We're not rushing out to poll it straight away because frankly we wouldn't be able to do anything with it before Christmas anyway, so may as well take a little longer to find out how people settle to the trading post rather than just going on the first day's knee-jerk reactions.
All right. Very in-depth answer. Okay, next question. Jacobo95RS. Can we have the ability to see the average sell price of an item?
For the moment, the game isn't actually trading any differently to how it did before the trading post update. You've got a new way of advertising the fact that you want to trade stuff, but at the end of the day, your trade is still going through that old manual trade screen. And just as before the update, we can't really track the value of what you're doing. I mean, it'd be all very well if everybody always sold, 300 nature runes for this much cash. We could work out what the value of a nature rune was and show that kind of statistic. But that's not always how you trade. Sometimes you'll have other items in there. Sometimes you'll trade for things other than coins. And we can't really turn that into meaningful statistics for you, even if we could track it. Also, if we did launch any kind of official guide price like this, it's just asking for people to go out there and, I'll give you my AGS for a coin if you give it back and forth between 2 accounts, and give the impression that the average price of an AGS is in fact 1 coin. So it comes with a lot of drawbacks, and for the moment, I don't think it's something we're going to see in the immediate future.
Right.
If, on the other hand, we were to offer a full GE, then it would come as standard.
Fair enough, makes sense. The next biggest question for the trading post from Love to Play RS. Can we have the ability to post buy offers in the trading post?
With the engine features currently available, no. We had to choose between letting everyone post sell offers and letting everyone post buy offers. We chose sell offers. Could have gone the other way. Now we've got our own engine developer, we've got a bit more flexibility than we had before. Now, it could be Ian's not going to be able to do this by himself. He might have to actually go back to the rest of the engine team and ask them to assist or cooperate a bit on this. But we should be able to get the engine changed such that the trading post can support buy offers and sell offers.
Right.
Or it could become a moot point if we poll something else and that passes.
I think if you were to pick one or the other, I think sell is probably the right idea. Someone can't sell something unless they own it is a good way to prevent manipulation.
Having everybody out there offering to buy things that they don't want, there's no check they've even got the money.
Right. Okay. Next question. This one's from the Checkley. Can you make it so that we can trade our items in the trading post at Castle Wars?
You actually can. Now, You can only do it from the trading post if you're in a bank area. The thing about Castle Wars is that since people like being able to light fires across the whole lobby, very little of the lobby is the bank area. In fact, it's about 6 tiles immediately adjacent to the bank chest, the trading post, and the barrel next to it. So while you can use the trading post to trade in the Castle Wars lobby, you have to be standing dead in the southeast corner of the room to do it. Both of you slap against the eastern wall, so it's easily missed. What we're going to do for the next update is let you use the trading post across the whole of the Castle Wars lobby and, well, that area. But we're not going to flag it as a bank because that would stop you lighting fires. We don't want to do that again. That was a mistake last time, a genuine bug. So we'll sort that.
Okay, excellent. All right, so if we could straw poll the Grand Exchange, you guys will have a chance to just vote in the chat here. We'll get a good idea of what you guys think, at least in the chat. But aside from that, that's it for the trading post, I believe.
As I recall, last time we were polling the trading solution, 72% of people were okay with automatic trading.
Yep.
So if the threshold had been a bit lower, it would have passed.
Yep.
Mind you, we also offered to lower the threshold recently, and that got nowhere near 75%.
Yeah, this will be interesting to see.
Yeah.
And I actually lied. We have a couple more trading post questions. So this one's from Obsessive1274. Can you make it mandatory that players using the trading post have their private chat on, or have at least joined their friends' chat?
I was having a chat with Ian about that before we came down here, and we reckon that with very little engine work, we should be able to make the trading post delist your offers if you block private messages and you're not in your own chat channel.
Right. Right now the issue is people are posting offers and then not putting the private chat online, so nobody can get in touch with them.
Yes, I gather that third-party site's been having a pain with that over the last year as well.
Yeah.
But yes, we should be able to do something about that since we're in-game.
Right. All right. Last trading post questions for real this time. Because I got game, assuming automatic trading eventually becomes an option for the trading post, will you create a new area like the Grand Exchange or keep the trading posts in each bank?
You choose. We can do either.
There you go. I did go to poll. So we just got the results back from the Grand Exchange,
Where'd
and
you
it's
go?
looking like a 69% yes, 31% no, which would not pass a poll, which is pretty much what we predicted. So there you go, guys.
I suppose what it boils down to with the Grand Exchange and the trading post in general is that even if the Grand Exchange doesn't pass, we can still adapt the trading post to make it what you guys want.
Right.
So it's up to you where it goes really at the end of the day.
Personally, I like the idea of being able to trade through the trading post.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yes.
seems like a more sensible option.
Yeah.
All right,
Yes, that was a fairly close thing, so I reckon that would pass if it was offered now.
cool. All right, trading post aside, other questions. This one's from Framed. Can we possibly see the reintroduction of the 2008 teleblock animation sound? So basically, right now it's kind of like this thing where you go, shh. There's not really much of a sound, if anything. It's a like purple thing. Whereas the 2008 one was more of a ball, like a Kamehameha, and you threw it.
Like a what?
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Dragon Ball Z. But it was purple.
Oh, all right.
No,
Okay. No, I don't know all that.
you basically just gathered this purple ball of energy and threw it, and it had a cooler sound effect.
It's
So
quite,
I
it's quite
think
nice animation. I quite
people
like
were
it.
they just want to be more aware that they've been teleblocked, I think.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I know that
Where do we put Mod Ghost?
he's upstairs at the moment
Okay.
finishing Christmas stuff, I think.
Hmm.
But I know he's done some wonderful things for Christmas for the animation, so I don't doubt he couldn't do that.
Oh no, he
I'm
could
sure,
for sure.
I'm
Yeah.
sure he could do that without any problem at all.
Yeah, we may even be able to borrow 1 or 2 models from the pre-EOC model archive I found lying around. They have to be adapted and reanimated from scratch, but it
Yep.
gets a good start.
We pulled quite a lot of things out of that archive, so
Yeah, POH Menageries came purely out of it.
we got Corporal Beast and all the spirituals purely out of it as well.
Yeah, I think it just needed reanimating, right?
Needed reanimating, reskinning, retexturing, re-everything. Well, I didn't read retexturing, it needed detexturing.
Yes, because everything comes out blue, right?
Yeah.
Love it.
Right. Next question. This one's from Elite Glitchers, and he asks, "Can we get a herb pouch purchasable from Slayer Masters? Could potentially hold 10 to 15 herbs."
I like that.
I
Yeah.
like it,
Yeah.
but it works better with grimy herbs than with
Okay.
unidentified ones.
It's a good point. Or we could make it only work with identified herbs.
That would make sense.
You should have to have the herb law level in your tasks to at least identify the ones you've got, but that's still not too much of a big issue. I like it. I was very annoyed when I was doing things like the Aberrant Spectres. They're very generous with their herbs. but,
Yeah, 3 at a time, I think.
Yeah, in some cases, and you
Okay.
can't hold them all. So yeah, I'm cool for that idea.
Might make its way to a poll then.
And
Yeah, well, we've
grimy
got-
herbs could, in fact.
We've got a load of Slayer things slated for some point next year. Stick it on there.
That would be best as a Slayer reward, yeah?
Yeah. Grinding Herbs is a popular one. It's something we did actually change at the start of Old School, but changed back.
Yeah, and when we polled it to see whether the players really wanted it, it didn't pass. But
Yeah.
opinions change.
All right, cool. This one's from Renat2. Can you fix the rune crafting pouches so that if they're clicked whilst already full, they don't degrade?
I thought we did that.
I had to test it right before the stream, and about clicking a large pouch about 400 times, it finally degraded and disappeared.
Yeah, it happens in certain states. I thought I caught them all. I'll have another look. Large, you say? Oh.
Yeah, no, it was a giant. I tried large, didn't get anywhere after like 10, 15 clicks, so I gave up. Then I tried giant, and it actually worked after a lot of clicks.
I remember fixing that for RS3 back in about 2009.
Mm-hmm.
It took blinking ages and I didn't get it right, and some people ended up with their pouches in incorrect states.
Right.
I could have another go.
Alright.
You'll enjoy testing that one.
Yeah, we've got to investigate it first because it is a real pain. You have to get VAR every time you click. It takes a while, but we can fix it.
Alright.
Well, what's going on is that it increments by one and then tries to put the essence in. Then it finds the essence couldn't go in because it was full, but it's already incremented its degradation by one, and thus sometimes it falls apart.
It's really just a matter of people making a lot of misclicks, and by a lot I mean like 100. So
Yeah, I can see it being a little galling, of course, when it happens.
yeah. Right. Next question. This one's from Braves HD, and he asks, could the Wilderness Elite Diary rewards include something for extra resources in the resource area?
Yeah, sure. I imagine we'll have a whole load of new rewards to poll post launch.
Yep.
You know, a load of feedback and stuff. So to
Okay.
keep the ideas until then, really.
Cool. All right, next question. This one's from Rum353, sorry. When rune crafting, could clicking the altar craft all of the S in your pouches without having to empty them?
They just did that in RS3. I don't see it being terribly popular with our community.
No.
No?
But it is again, something we have the ability to do.
There were surprisingly quite a few questions this week about making rune crafting a faster skill to train. That might have just been a group of friends saying, I don't like training rune crafting.
It might have something to do with a 95 runecraft requirement on one of the achievement diaries.
That makes sense.
There's a lot of no's coming up in the chat.
That's a lot of no's.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't imagine that being
I would
popular at all.
personally always be against making rune crafting particularly faster.
For what it's worth, back in about 2010, I changed the bank to have a right-click fill or empty option on runecrafting pouches while you'd got the bank open, so that you didn't have to open and shut the bank over and over again to fill your pouches and still have an inventory of essence.
Okay.
That kind of thing has done well in polls when it was offered with the coal bags and the gem bags. Maybe it would be popular for runecrafting pouches.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and say this one probably wouldn't pass a poll, so next
No,
question.
I wouldn't be in favour of putting it on a poll anyway.
This one's from Fishy O, and he asks, can we have an easier option to clean herbs instead of clicking each one? Kind of
Shoe
like
machine.
if you had a
Player
big,
and house update.
You can pay the
Or Zahra
herbalist in
effectively.
Nardar to clean them all for you.
yeah.
That's true.
I think he's just looking for a clean all option.
Well, if we could do a clean all, but
Yeah.
I guess it would have to be a lot slower
Clean. They're perfectly clean, they just can't see what they are.
than. This is true.
Yeah.
We had grimy, however, but I guess if he wants to identify all the herbs in his inventory, it would have to be done obviously by. Well, to be fair, you don't know what herbs you've got in your inventory; they're unidentified. So, clean X or clean all is only going to work on the amount you've got in your invent.
Right.
So,
Could create a new item, like a special cloth. I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's
As
still
John
not cleaning
said,
them
there's an
either, it's
NPC in Nada that does it for you.
I
Yeah.
don't know whether they take
That does
notes.
seem like the
I
easier
forget whether he
option.
takes banknotes or not, but he certainly could take banknotes.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll be working on it. Well, you'll be working on him for the achievement diaries anyway.
All right. Next question. This one's from RS Livey. Will the fire cape ever get an upgrade similar to the one that the fight kiln offered?
A while ago, I think Ghost, our new artist, came up to me and said, "Is there any graphics you'd just like me to draw? Because I've got some spare time." And I asked him to draw a new fire cape because I wanted to see what he would come up with.
And it looks
I didn't really
awesome.
give him any parameters. I just said, "Draw a new fire cape. This is what the old one looks like. Give us something new." And I think he was already aware of what the current kiln cape looks like in RS3. And he drew something. He posted it to Twitter. I think he posted it on Reddit as well. And it went. It was actually quite popular. It looks really, really good. It had
It
a
does,
nice
yeah.
sort of flowing lava effect with rocks in it, with a few sort of protrusions on it. It looked quite nice, and I think we've always talked about a further expansion potentially to the fight caves because, you know, fire cave is a very, very nice cave. Fight caves are quite enjoyable for some. I know a lot of people like the challenge, and I think obviously with the kiln being introduced into RS3 back in 2012, 2011, pretty sure, I think it was 2012. It was very, very popular, and I think obviously a lot of people want that.
Yep.
With Ghost's cape being quite popular and a lot of people requesting it, it's obviously the popularity has just gone up even more so. So it's something we can definitely do. It would just be a case of, do you want the fire cape to upgrade and have a new best in slot item over the fire cape? Would you like to have the kiln as it was? Would you like a sort of new kiln? Would you like the fire caves just keep on going as opposed to a new mini game? An extension is definitely possible. It's just a case of whatever you fancy.
Someone was asking whether this would be on the new continent or whether it would be done in the existing Tsar area.
Again, it depends if you actually want one. I can do it on the new continent.
There's a few options there.
It is. If you wanted it to be a continued expansion to the current fight caves, then naturally it's going to have to stay within the fight caves. But you know, it makes sense. It's the Tsar. But there's nothing to stop us putting a new Tsar species or a new, even more Tsar somewhere else in the world. We aren't tied by law to keep them where they are right now. So
As long as they're somewhere underneath the volcano. Then.
yeah, exactly.
Completely personal, but I like the idea of requiring like 50 capes to upgrade one, as opposed to a completely new one.
It was the very, 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 very first project I worked on when I moved to development, and I was only on it for a week because it was just going out. And the thing I loved about it most, my feedback was firmly keep up the ripping of the fire cape, because that's what people don't expect.
Right.
No one really wants to hand over their hard-earned fire cape and just see it get ripped up in front of them. See, that was lovely, and that was the challenge that everybody was then set. Now I've lost my fire cape, I can get a better one, or I have to go back for 3 hours and scream at Jad when I die to a healer.
3
And that
hours?
Some people panic. I don't know. Well, Alfie and Ronan over here failed countless times.
Oh, yeah,
I
that
think
was
3
funny.
hours in total for Ronan over there.
Ronan did fail pretty hard.
Yeah, so you know, it's the idea of ripping up a fire cape to upgrade it is a really nice idea, and I think if we were to do that, to introduce an extension, I would have you risk your existing fire cape, because
Makes sense.
if you're going to upgrade it, then you're going to need to cash in your current fire cape.
All right. Okay, next question. This one's from Call Me Boy. It's a pretty cool idea. All right, now bear with me, okay? Can we get an area with courses to train certain skills? So it'd be similar to like the agility training course, for example, but it'd be for other stats. So his idea for strength would be a gym. So you'd be bench pressing a runite bar, training your strength.
Technically, that's what the
Medieval
Warriors
gym.
Guild is trying to be, a medieval gym.
Yeah.
It could be a...
I think it's a cool idea, but it
It's
would
a
be difficult
cool
for
idea
certain
and a cool
skills.
concept, but unless it was like the best XP in the game, no one would really do it.
You could have maybe sort of a gauntlet type thing.
I'd
You
do
know,
it.
run the gauntlet stuff you have, where you have to go through all those different obstacles and then push big swingy things out of the way.
Yeah.
So
You can
Like the Rogue's Den.
probably. Yeah. Okay, we've got one of those. So it seems like we've got one of those.
The idea of, yeah, I think the Warriors Guild is trying to be a gym, isn't it?
It's yeah.
Well, I'm not quite sure what training you're doing when you're dodging missiles and throwing shields in the air.
Defense.
Defense.
Yeah.
And we fixed the bug where you could get free rune out of it.
Yeah.
I think we just need a gym in RuneScape.
Or maybe a triathlon type thing. So you do a load of running, some sort of cycling
That
type
sounds like
thing,
agility.
shooting.
That would be kind of cool though, a
Yeah,
triathlon.
so
in
you
RuneScape.
sort of have to run for a long distance. You have to go all the way
Something
around the
make for a
map
laugh,
several
I
times.
guess.
We kind of need cycles though, and
Yeah.
or maybe
so-
you could ride a horse.
Yeah. Well, no, because I
Mounts,
think
you know,
I think
let's
the
do it.
normal one
Treadmills.
is running, cycling, shooting, isn't it? That's the traditional triathlon.
No, it's running, swimming, cycling.
No,
Shooting?
that's the Iron Man. That's a different thing completely.
I don't know.
Anyway, it's a discussion we probably
Okay,
don't
next
really need to
question.
have.
We have actual questions looking at these. All right, this one's from Soggy Toast. Can we have the ability to right-click a name on our friends list and hop to their world?
Yes.
Yes.
And we could stick on the trading post as well.
Absolutely.
Ooh. It's a nice little upgrade. Definitely a possibility. What do you guys think about that? Leave your comment in the chat. All right, next question. This one's from Danny R. Will we ever see the Karasi pulled with a less OP special attack?
I think it was only popular because it had an OP special attack.
Yeah,
That's true.
I was smiling up to the point you said less OP. I was like, oh, that's better. Okay.
And if you want that, you buy a Blessed Sarah sword. To be honest, it's pretty much the same thing.
The only
Yeah.
benefit a Karasi sword has was its OP special attack. If it doesn't have an OP special attack, it's just another sword. It's not
Right.
anything in particular. You might as well use a rune sword.
Right. Fair enough. I'm seeing a lot of yeses, actually. That was for being able to hop to a friend's world by right-clicking their name. So definitely might make its way to a poll. A lot of no's for the Karasi, though. Okay, that was quick.
I'm
Having
I'm
those
fair
two
with that.
questions in quick succession and looking at what they're saying in the stream could be quite hard to interpret.
Yeah. So this one's from How to Basic.
Really?
Yep,
Lovely.
the real one. When are you guys going to allow players to sticky tape eggs to their foreheads? I've been waiting for this update for ages, and I thought this could give a nice use to the eggs dropped from birds' nests.
Well,
That's
I
a
mean-
specialist request.
Yes.
Yeah.
I did sort of, when I saw that, wonder why you'd want to sellotape an egg to your forehead.
Why
would
wouldn't
you not?
want it? Right.
Well, yeah, maybe.
We don't have
maybe.
to
it's a
sellotape.
new way of taking in protein.
Yeah, no, fair point. No, sellotape.
Okay. All right.
Coming soon.
Next
yes.
poll.
Yes, we're doing it. It's happening.
Soon TM.
Yeah. In fact, I think that's something we just shouldn't bother polling and just put it straight in. Can't see anybody saying no to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's absolutely fine.
All right, next question. This one's from RS Ambient. Can you please clarify what can and can't be done between two of our own accounts?
We looked at this earlier, actually. And the answer is you can do anything as long as you're not boosting a minigame, effectively, or
Right.
cheating in any other way, of course. But yeah, so if you want to play at the same time, you can. If you want to trade between the accounts, you can. If you want to, I don't know,
Trade
stand
money.
there and have a conversation with yourself, you can. But you just can't boost yourself in a minigame or do any other sort of cheating.
There you go.
Okay.
Okay, fair enough. Next question. This one's from Joel Davies. ModReach recently tweeted saying he had plans to fix the black nothingness that surrounds the RuneScape map. Can you expand on this?
So currently around certain areas of the map, I'm taking Prifidinus as an example, there's 3 map squares for Prifidinus, or Prifdinas, I don't actually know the Welsh pronunciation of that. And 1 map square of it is completely blacked out because there is no mapping there, there's no grass or anything else. And that exists all around the RuneScape map, all the way down from the desert all the way up to the wilderness.
Yeah.
I said with the continent I would look to fill in that map space, much like RS3 eventually did, and just put some basic content there, even if it's unreachable, just base it there, just plaster it there, so at least the map didn't look completely blacked out. We didn't have any more black spaces. It would just make the world map look a bit more presentable, and obviously if you walked over to it in game, even if you couldn't get to it, you were aware that there was something there and it wasn't just a black void.
What would happen if you tried to cross into the new land?
How do you mean?
If you tried to walk into what used to be a black nothingness and now there's land there, would you just get like a message saying you can't walk over there, or
Well, we could just block it off with like a fence or something.
Yeah,
If
I
you,
do.
give it a
Blocked
fence?
land or sea or something that you
Okay.
can't walk across.
I mean,
makes
naturally
sense.
it has block on it right now because there's nothing there, so you can't walk onto it because what you're walking onto. If I was to fill it out, some of those areas are actually unreachable at the moment anyway. People can just see them from the corner of their map currently, or when they open the world map, they see black all over the place. And it's,
Yeah.
you know, when you're looking in the middle of the map and you've got this big black square where something should be but isn't there, it's quite unpresentable. So I'd be looking to just fill that out to make it look a bit more respectable.
Okay. Next question. This one's from RS Orangehead. Can the Lava Battle Staff receive a rework like the other staffs did, like the Steam did, for example? It's the only one that still looks boring.
Yeah, I'd like to do that, and I think Mod Ghost would enjoy doing that
Yeah,
one.
he said he had no
so.
problem doing that.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to see the Lava Battle Staff being upgraded cosmetically, again, put a yes in the chat. Okay, next question. RS Orangehead asks, or sorry, Slayer Master asks, for Mod Ash / Mod Reach, can you make it so that when you use your own food on teammates inside PVM areas like God Wars, it would help heal them?
It's a lot of food.
It's a big element of teamwork, I think. It'd be like,
Yeah.
there's
Sure.
probably some negatives to it.
No, you.
Yeah, the lunar spells that let you use potions on your teammates.
Yeah.
We could try and write one of those that feeds your teammates.
I think the issue here is if, say, one teammate got disconnected or something,
Yeah.
and you know, your teammates could join together and heal them to the point where you could eventually
Existing
log out.
Castle Wars where you can use bandages on your
Yeah.
teammates.
They heal
And I
tiny
do quite
amount,
like
don't they?
the mechanic because, as you say, it is a sort of a teamwork game.
Right.
I'm seeing a lot of no's in the chat though. A lot
I
of
don't
people.
know
are
why.
saying
I thought this
against
was a cool idea.
that. I imagine if I'm going to take single PKing because we get a lot of videos about single PKing
Well-
where people obviously spear one particular person. I imagine if we they started, or I know a rival clan came up and started
Well, it did say
feeding that
PVM
person.
areas, so we can,
Oh, that's true. Actually, sorry, I'm going off track.
can
here.
limit it
It's
to like God
PvP.
Wars, etc.
What if you had to have your aid on, so it
That
couldn't
naturally,
happen- right?
Um,
And it wouldn't be. How would it be stackable?
If you could just walk up to somebody who's using Dirox and feed them, that would be really funny.
that jumped into mind, but again, we just
Yeah,
Turn it
except
off.
aid. Yeah.
It's
I
definitely
don't
an interesting
have-
idea.
I don't have anything against it personally, but after seeing all the no's in the chat, I'm not entirely
Yeah.
sure I should be confident about that.
Could do it with new food items, and it'll be an expansion to the cooking skill, more things for them to cook at higher levels.
I mean, we don't have to limit it to, we don't have to put it on all food, no, for sure. We can have
be one hell of a
expansions.
change.
Combine
Sure,
them with
start.
herbs to give them a special effect.
I'm in.
All right, next question. We have more. This one's from Smudge the Pro. One of the diary rewards is a banner. Is this equipable or is this like a Vexillium?
Yeah, it'll just be equipable.
Okay, so you'll be holding it like
Yeah,
a
the weapon
castle
slot
or
is going to be the one slot that has 2 items. There's the sword from the wilderness and that.
Okay.
Without a new slot or having something in your quiver, which wouldn't be a whole lot of use, that's the only way we could do it, really.
Fair enough. Next question. This one's from Sloss420. Australian servers. Dun, dun, dun.
Yes, yeah. What we're going to do is wait until the servers are sorted out first, because you know, they've got network problems there and likely to be solved until early next year. Once we've done that, we'll look at getting some Australian servers open.
Cool. So you get somewhat of a time frame there. There you go, guys. Something is being done. Next question, Obsessive1274. When will we get to see the rewards unlocked from the $10,000 donated to the Well of Goodwill?
I forgot about that.
The thing that passed was a bowl cut, right?
It wasn't. It was the what we're calling the
Yeah.
No, the Supreme Leader.
The Supreme Leader
Supreme
haircut.
Leader.
Yeah,
Different
which is-
haircut.
Yeah,
That
so
also looks like a
Alfie,
bowl.
Alfie fantastically modelled for us before we left. Or Alfie half modelled for us before we left. There wasn't actually a female version.
I can't imagine what a female one of those would look
I
like.
don't know. I know, neither do I.
Oh, the
I
gift
don't know,
that keeps
I
on
just
giving.
to go to North Korea and
Gareth-
find
That
out.
difficult.
Gareth has cleared it up, created a second version, and polished a few of things around it. So we can deliver it to you anytime that we have
Probably do it for next
available
week.
to us.
Yeah,
Really.
next
That
week
would be
makes sense.
appropriate.
Yeah.
Okay, hop on that.
I mean, I think the other rewards that didn't get reached, I think we'll probably be doing them again early next year. A similar thing.
Well, there's bound to be holidays coming up next
Yeah.
year. We've got another birthday coming up in February.
Yes. Yeah.
So don't mind, the Ash emote will eventually make its way into the game.
Yes.
One day.
I hope
Alright,
so. It's an
yeah.
incredible emote.
Next question. This one's from Kyle Killer 46. Can we see an upgrade to the Holy Wrench? Many people don't deem it useful enough to take up an inventory slot. Perhaps a GP fee and 80+ prayer requirements could double its effects.
Yeah, I'd like to do
I
that.
quite like the Holy Wrench actually. I do remember using it a fair bit.
I only
I
really
used to
use
use it,
for
but I was never sure whether it was beneficial in the end.
I think it gives you an extra.
Prayer point per
Yeah.
dose.
Is it one per dose? Yeah, we can make
Use
it
it
two.
for like chinning and Jad. Aside from that, I'm not sure what else.
I think you could definitely do with a nice upgrade.
It is more efficient to use on certain Slayer tasks, like 130 something Dark Beasts. Then you're worth it. But if you're taking a cannon, then not. It's marginally useful.
All right, next question. We mentioned this before. Just wondering if we have an update. Is Cause I Got Game? And he's asking, when ignoring people who PM us, can their messages disappear afterwards?
Yes.
Yes. All right. Will that make its way to a poll eventually, or?
Ronan writes the polls, but I'm in favour.
That's something that we really need to poll.
I
I think
Does it seem?
think it's a
it's a pretty
substantial
big
enough
concern
change.
at the
You think so?
moment.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, next question. This one's from Brad's W. What happened to the Abyssal Demon boss?
Slayer update next year.
There you go, that's what happened. Fair enough, next question. This one's from Robo Sigdog. Why do trimmed god dehides have a 40 defense requirement? And there's the second part of this question for someone else asking, can wearing a full set of god dragon hide armor have a bonus effect?
I don't know why they were given a 40 defense requirement. They just always have had them.
Okay.
When they were, I think they were in expansion 2, 2005 or something.
2007.
2007. It's just black d'hide with a little bit of prayer bonus. I'd quite happily take the 40 defense requirement off of all parts but the chest.
Right.
Obviously, need to poll it, and set effects easy enough to do. Just need some ideas.
Whenever we've offered to take the requirements off something to make it more accessible to pures, it hasn't gone well in the poll.
Given that they have the exact same stats as items that are already available,
Maybe the players will vote different then.
yeah, I think it's worth offering. I wouldn't like to place money on whether it would pass or not, though, for that reason.
Fair enough.
Indeed, yeah.
All right. Next question. This one's from a Wild Atkins, and he's asking, any chance we'll see anything like the Rev Caves come to Old School?
We offered Revenants before during the Wilderness Rejuvenation, although we didn't go into detail about what they drop.
Okay.
Now, if they were dropping those PvP armours that never seem to do very well when we bring them up, then that's not a good way to get Revenants into the game. In terms of the caves, yeah, we can stick in any dungeon you like, but if we're going to have Revenants, someone got to work out what they're going to drop first.
Right.
I think that's the real question behind it. It's not they want revenants, they want the stuff that they dropped, isn't it?
And they
That's
dropped
what-
all the gloves, among other things.
Yes.
And we touched on that last
Yeah.
week. If you haven't seen, we touched on PvP armors. It's up on the YouTube channel as a highlight. Nice little plug there. Next question. This one's from OSRS Gaz. Can we get a seasonal boss fight where everyone in the world can join together and kill it?
We have something quite well. It's not. We have something similar happening.
A bit of
Let's
a
put it
teaser
that
for
way.
you.
Yeah. So wait till next week.
Okay. Wait till next week.
Yeah.
Which is essentially a no.
We've got to have our surprises, haven't we? Really, we don't get very many of them.
No,
so when
the
we have
last-
them, we've got to enjoy
The
them.
last one.
We had a surprise in April.
Yeah, April 1st was.
Yeah, that actually probably was the last one.
yeah.
And the Runefest emote.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That surprised a lot of people, that did. Not
Yeah.
many people seen a cow do that before.
Yes, that was quite entertaining. But yeah, so cool stuff happening at Christmas. So
Cool.
keep your eyes open.
Next question. This one's from Lano3. Can you link older quests with somewhat unfinished storylines to be finished in Zaya, such as Haziel's Cult and Tribal Totem?
I actually was speaking to Mod Osborne last week about what if we do ever come to do quests, what we do with them, and they'd prefer. Well, I'll have to start again. Depending on what they're going to be doing next year, we don't want to be filling with the lore and changing storylines and things.
Right,
so if
that
they've
makes
got
sense.
anything in the pipeline for anything that someone wants something for Old School for, we'd kind of have to match it. We can always mention storylines and maybe reference them in various places, but
The way-
I'm
The way-
personally not of the same opinion. I think we should. I'm not one for treading on the toes of their storyline. They have a very unique storyline, and it's going in its direction quite nicely right now, and a lot of people are enjoying it. But I think with the platform we've got, we have the opportunity to do something ourselves.
yeah,
I don't
we can
think
start new storylines.
It's true. I don't want to. I'm not in any way. I wouldn't never suggest we try, or I suggest we undermine any current storyline. But I think we do have the potential to create our own storyline with what we've got.
Yeah, I mean, sort of the way I look at it, and I've sort of explained it to other people, is that imagine Star Wars. Everybody loves Star Wars. You've got the 6 films, soon to be 9 films, brilliant, which are the main storyline. You then have 400 or 500 different books which run through Luke Skywalker's life outside of the films, through Han Solo's life, Bounty Hunter, the Boba Fett ones are great. They cover all other different sort of storylines that all tie together along this one main storyline. And that's what we can fill in, are those gaps there. So we can do all the other stuff that controls all the other characters and what they do outside of the main storyline. So we're not crashing on RS3's storyline, because that just wouldn't work at all. The lore's got to be accurate across both games. So.
Right.
Take the lore surrounding the snake area for the new snake boss that's coming. One of the things that happened is that there's a poison swamp there with a whole load of garbage flowing out of the gnome town that we haven't got, Arpasandra or whatever it is. But we still got that swamp. We're not going to release any storyline that contradicts where that poison's coming from, because if we said, oh, in Old School RuneScape, it's actually coming from an elf factory, that would be peculiar, and it would conflict with their storyline. And we could even have Path of Gluffrey added to Old School one day. But we can use that swamp and have other things taking place in the area that have been affected by it, without contradicting the storyline at all. And that's roughly what we're planning to do.
Yeah.
In terms of adding new quests for the new continent, what about looking at branching off on previous quests like Part 2s or Part 3s, etc.?
I did recently go back to the drawing board for the idea of something called an Uber tier quest, which originally it did suggest that we would tie together all the storylines, not to finish them, but to tie them together so they meet at a sort of a pinnacle point where it's somewhat related to this event.
Okay.
That means everything that the Menophites were doing and everything the Dwarves were doing, everything else were doing, were all caused by one catalyst, and the catalyst is what we would tell the story of, and that would be across the whole of RuneScape, which would bring it into that Uber tier sort of status. That's something I have talked about very, very briefly, and I think I couldn't really give any particular plans on any particular narrative, because it is such a big idea that you couldn't really come up with anything solid for that in any short period of time.
Right.
So that is still very much on the drawing board, and something it was in very, very early development, but we'll talk more about that when we actually have anything to talk about.
Right, questing aside, this one's from Kyle Killer 94, and he's asking to have the ability to make cosmetic upgrades to his cannon / cannonballs, being the idea of making cannonballs from gold bars, and your cannon can shoot gold cannonballs.
Gold balls, yeah.
It's just Fashionscape now, isn't it? Everything has to have an upgrade that makes it look pretty.
I kind of like gold cannonballs.
Maybe you could take your balls and stick some gems on them, and then they could have special attacks.
So
going on.
diamond
The
enchanted
diamond balls, sapphire balls.
I'm not sure this would ever pass, to be brutally honest, because frankly, why? But it's not impossible, no.
I'm pretty sure we could put the dev time to better use.
Yeah, I think
I think we probably could too.
I was watching the Hexes podcast recently, and I know that they answered a question that they got sent saying, could we have like a cosmetics shop where I could look at what cosmetic items that I could possibly have and try them on before I have the idea of buying them. And that just reminded me of that, and they shot that idea down immediately. So
Yeah. I'm not sure it would pass that.
No, I don't think this will pass anyway.
Fair enough. Next question. This one's from Jazz07. And this is a kind of cool idea. All right, again, bear with me. A new fire-making method that allows you to light the city lights around Varrock. Now, it's a little late for this. Light the city lights around Varrock to have burning lights outside while in the snowy weather, so you could see better while using your fire-making to light up the city. Right? Now to branch off, it's a little bit late for this, obviously, I'm assuming. What about something like a newer, in the new continent, an area that's very dark, maybe it's a dungeon, maybe it's a cave, and you have to light your way through it using fire making?
I've already touched on making fire making more of a survival skill on the new continent, having polar areas which require you to keep warm, and bringing the fire making skill actually into sort of a useful bracket. Because at the moment, it's just that skill that you spend hours on end going backwards and forwards training for absolutely no benefit. There's no reason to do that. I think I remember once seeing Andrew or hearing Andrew say it's his favourite skill because the time taken to make it is nothing for the time taken to train it.
I believe it was 10 minutes.
Yeah, and it's just a complete waste.
Now, this idea,
I'd like to bring it more into par with some of the other skills where it's actually useful. So having some sort of lighting element all the way through a cave, fantastic, cool. Having some sort of survival element to it, brilliant. Any other things you wanted to do, just let me know, because frankly it is a pathetic skill and we can actually do something with it to make it useful for once.
Fire marshalling skill.
So somebody walking behind you with a fire extinguisher. Yeah.
This would kind of make lanterns a little bit more redundant, however. Is that a big concern?
Well, it depends where you can do it. If we did it in all the existing dark areas of the game so that you could just use fire making to light logs everywhere you went, and then any one person with logs could make lanterns redundant for everybody. If, on the other hand, it was in a new continent and there was something special about the darkness down here, or it was too wet for you to have any kind of lantern, but if you were really good you could make a log smoulder a bit, then we could find a way of doing it that way on the new continent in a new place.
We could probably just simplify it with a new lamp. I mean, the bullseye lantern needs 49 fire making to light. If we make this area really dark, have a diamond lantern that needs 90 fire making to light, and you can only get through there with this lantern. Then,
Well, like Dan said, do it with cold.
Yeah.
All right. So we've got some Twitch questions before we get to the finale here. This one says, can you add a bank pin to the trading post?
The difficulty there is that since when items are on the trading post, you can try and trade them to another player. And that means that once you've got the trading screen open, you might start trying to give away the items that are on the trading post. That's not a place where we're going to be able to pop up the pin screen in the middle of you trading with another player. Especially if you might get it wrong and go around a few times in that loop while the trade tries to persist. We're not realistically going to be able to put a pin challenge on the trade screen. At which point, stopping you getting the items off the trading post any other way doesn't really help, because the hijacker would still be able to send them to another account. So, since the things are there to be traded, it's going to be a problem trying to put pin protection on them. What we could do, and I'm not sure I want to do this, but we could, is stop you trading without entering your pin first. If you've got anything on the trading post, and you have to enter your pin before the trade screen opens in the first place.
Similar how you can't enter a dream in Inner Zone without entering your pin in the coffer, I think.
Indeed, that's right. We could do that. It's not so good for the usability though, but it would address what the people want addressed.
Yeah, and one of the things that I was talking a couple of weeks ago with the security team was how we can change how the bank pin works to make it more secure. And one of the things we came up with is a whole range of different tiered bank pins. So you can have the bank pin, well, no bank pin, or you can have a bank pin as it is now. You can have a bank pin with a few extra features on it, such as blocking trade, for example. We can have a bank pin so that it stops you getting entering combat. And then the bank pin so you can't get into the game without bank pin. So there's all sort of different ways you could choose where you want your level to be, and then tie it in with some other bits and bobs as well to encourage you to use it, and the authenticator as well. That's something we'll probably look at next year.
So one of those, to touch back on, people are asking about experience locks. I don't think we're ever going to offer that. I would assume not.
No.
But this would be a similar idea to that if you were worried about your account getting hijacked on your one defense maxed pure, nobody could go on and level the stats because you had a pin that could stop that.
Yeah. So that'd be very useful for that. But it's all stuff we need to sit down and have a proper think about next year. But these are sort of the ideas we're mulling over at the moment.
In the meantime, there's a video on YouTube showing you how to get an authenticator set on your account so that people can't steal it so easily.
Takes less than 60
It's a really
seconds.
good video.
Yes, everyone should watch it.
Who made that video? We commissioned it from someone, didn't we?
I'm not sure.
Some Spark? No, it was from you, wasn't it?
All right, next question. This one says, can we get the ability to imbue Slayer helms with Slayer points?
Would they like the imbued version to do?
I'm just reading the question. I have no idea.
Easily doable.
I'm saying this to John. What would the imbue do differently? I mean, it's impossible. It is possible to imbue a Slayer helm with Slayer points. We can make that work. It's just what you want the imbued version to do.
Maybe they want the to be able to imbue it like Nightmare Zone does, but with Slayer points instead of Nightmare Zone points.
Yeah. Makes sense.
I don't really have any concern with offering that. I'd make it a hell of a lot of Slayer points though.
Would you see it ever being OP?
Well, no, because it already
No.
exists.
Right, but imbuing it and giving it better bonuses.
Better bonuses than the existing version, you mean?
Yeah, or would it just be the same?
Yeah, so you could imbue it with
Oh, okay.
either Slayer points or Nightmare Zone points.
Okay, don't mind me.
I think it's 1.25 million Nightmare Zone.
I can't remember, but it's a lot of them.
Yeah, we'll have to balance that out, but it'll be a few thousand Slayer points, I think.
Okay, shouldn't be too many concerns then if there's nothing else added to it. Fair enough. Next question. This one says, could we get musicians across the map that allow you to restore energy without adding rest?
No.
That's a very RS3 thing to me
Yeah.
when I think of it.
I
What-
don't see it being popular.
No.
Whenever we talked about rest in the earlier days of old school, there was a lot of no, don't do rest. Many people would like it because it's convenient. Other people wouldn't like it because they like being able to sell those energy potions.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So we've gone other ways of trying to get your run energy back, like, well, stamina potions, for example, and we can do more of that kind of thing. But I don't think rest is going to get through.
No.
Okay. And the last Twitch question we have is, I believe this one's for you, Dan. Go ahead.
You need to
Wanna
close
read
up
it?
camera.
Where did Big Dave get his name? Truth be told, I honestly have no idea. I found that NPC purely by accident.
You've had some fun naming
For anyone
NPCs
who's
today.
not familiar with Big Dave, this is an NPC in the fishing competition quest.
Yes, in Hemminster, yeah.
Yeah, and he's got a very big fishing rod.
His name is Big Dave. He has a rather suggestive examine option. And unlike most other NPCs, he has unique trousers which have bulges in certain places. And he's called Big Dave. And I didn't know he existed till earlier today, where I found him purely by accident.
What were you
And,
looking for?
I was teleporting around to look for a decent place to put a taskmaster for Sears.
Okay.
And I thought, let's just check Hemminster, because why not?
Yeah.
And then Big Dave was there. I thought, oh, Big Dave. I don't remember that NPC because you don't really pay much attention when you're doing fishing contests. And I examined Big Dave, saw the option, and then turned my screen sideways so Big Dave was,
right.
horizontal to me.
So
And I
you
got-
saw the
you
examination,
can
and the
saw,
first thing
yeah.
you thought was that.
Yeah, and then it was confirmed by his rather unique shape.
Okay, that's
So I don't know where he got his
a little more
name,
in-depth.
honestly. That
Okay.
quest is 10 plus years old, so whoever made that quest, I think it was actually Paul.
Well,
all right. Any more Twitch chat questions, guys? No.
No, there's been a lot of spam.
Okay. Feel
Can't
free
imagine why.
Feel free to feed any through. Anyways, you can see that picture on ModReach's Twitter account.
Yes, you can. If you want to go see who Big Dave is, go to my Twitter, which is @JagXReach, and you'll see who Big Dave is.
Okay. And our last question, the big one,
yes.
Dragon Claws. That's
Right,
it. That's the whole
okay.
question.
We do this quite a lot, but I think
This is the final time.
I've been told that this is the final time I should say this. Because
So what's going to happen is we're going to address it now,
Yeah.
once and forever, never again, maybe, probably, never, maybe, I don't know. And we'll put it on YouTube as a highlight. So if anybody asks this question, I'm going to redirect them to the video. Say,
Yes.
hey guy, we just answered that yesterday.
Which is a big flashy alert thing when somebody asks in the future. Anyway, go on, Dan.
All right.
Right, Dragon Claws. Everyone, a lot of people love them, a lot of people hate them, a lot of people enjoyed using them, a lot of people enjoyed being killed by them, a lot of people enjoyed killing people with them.
That was close.
A lot of people were frustrated when they were getting one item rushed. They were a reward from a quest, a very popular quest, one of my favourite quests, and they were relatively cheap for their strength. They were also incredibly accurate for a level 60 weapon. There was no requirement beyond level 60 attack to equip them, so you didn't have to do the quest to use them. Anybody with 60 plus attack could just pick them up and go into the wilderness with one item and potentially kill you. They had 2 special attacks, so that's and they did half damage for every. They hit 4 times, going down by half, I believe, if I remember rightly. So if you hit a 40, you then hit a 20, then a 10, then a 5.
Yep.
Obviously, that's quite a lot of damage. That can kill you in one hit.
That was close to the max, I think.
It was, and you could nearly
Okay.
kill someone with one special attack.
Right.
People counter that argument quite easily by saying, well, Dragon Bow does that, AGS does that currently, and people can, as Wiggled has proved before actually in one of his videos where he he barraged skill specs, and then obviously AGS rushed him. That was a good example of those weapons being overpowered as well. The thing there is, those A are pre-existing, so they've always been there. We can't just adjust that balancing. B, range doesn't really have anything that's powerful on its side beyond Dark Bow. You can't really do that with anything else. Dragon Bolts, or Onyx Bolts, sorry, maybe, but that's not very common, and it's incredibly expensive. Magic doesn't really have anything effective on its side. Barrage is the best it gets for Magic, really. Some people might disagree with me, and I'm not a PKer, so I apologise if there's anything else that could be potentially better. Melee does have AGS, correct.
But it's worth a hell of a lot more.
AGS is a very expensive weapon. A lot of people have it, though, so it's not really too much of an argument against it. It's not very accurate, and it doesn't hit that high often. Just when it does hit high, it hits bloody high.
There's a massive delay between the two specials.
And
Yes, and the special
right.
attacks are much slower.
Right.
Introducing Dragon Claws as they were originally would put the melee side of the combat triangle much further ahead than both range and magic. You know, on another level, it would go much further ahead. Where we are at right now with the current armor sets we have, we don't really have anything to combat that sort of offensive attack. You take Dragon Claws into the you take Dragon Claws into the wilderness, for example, and the best armor opponent you can find, the best armor in the game currently, you could be wearing an Elysian, you're still going to do an incredible amount of damage. So we're not really at the balance yet where Dragon Claws are viable. I'm using the word yet because I'm not ruling out Dragon Claws as a possibility for the future. I'm saying right now RuneScape can't really support Dragon Claws.
Okay. Couple side questions, if I may, real quick.
Yep, sure.
So do you want to touch on the Phoenix necklace, which apparently renders the Dragon Claws redundant? Well, not redundant, but like...
Only when you're wearing one.
If you're wearing a Phoenix necklace, you can't be killed by Dragon Claws.
So but it would over-centralize the entire PvP
right.
meta system where you would actually have to wear a Phoenix necklace to effectively not get rushed.
But does this mean that Dragon Claws are not as OP?
Well, they are still OP.
Right.
Forcing someone to wear something to make something not OP doesn't make something less OP. That's why
It's not the right sort of design to make it work.
Right.
You know, we're not going to completely redesign the PvP system around Dragon Claws.
You could say that if you're protecting melee, AGS is underpowered, you never get killed by an AGS.
Right.
Exactly. Or if you've got 99 defense and they're wearing max defense, then things are going to hit 0. That's not really how it works.
So that argument's kind of shot down. What other arguments are there for
well, there's more arguments against it. I mean, like you said, they've only required 60 attack, and having something that powerful at such a low level really limits their future potential. And it's kind of where things started going down the path of things getting really OP at really low levels, going into things like Chaotix, Karasi, etc. And that resulted in a complete rebalance of combat. I don't think we want to be heading down that path because a lot of people play old school to stick with the old combat system.
We also have to consider our future. I mean, it's the integrity and the balance of the game is something we have to take into serious consideration. If we do Dragon Claws now, we limit ourselves to what we can do with weapons in the future. If you wanted the next best weapon, if you got bored of Dragon Claws, if everyone had Dragon Claws, you wanted the new weapon, what the hell do we do with it? We've just given you the best spec weapon in the game. It hits you nearly for one shot in every special attack. You know, what can we do beyond that, which is better but different?
Right.
That's tricky. So we're not saying Dragon Claws never, 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 never. We're not saying that. We're saying right now Dragon Claws don't fit the balance of the game we have. With a new raid potentially next year, we're going to be looking at introducing potentially new armors. That might bring the balance into more form where we can suddenly say, hey, Dragon Claws is a possibility now. Hey, do you guys want them? Where would you like to get them? Would you like them to be nerfed, buffed, do whatever? I don't know. Right now, where we're trying to secure our future, or we're thinking of our future, sorry, and the current balance of the game, they just don't fit. Don't get me wrong, I do love Dragon Claws. I had Dragon Claws, I used Dragon Claws, I do understand the hype behind Dragon Claws. I was a huge fan of them, I still am. I even commissioned them to be made. Alfie did make them. We do have the animation. We can run around currently in our test streams with them. It's fun. I get that sort of appeal. We're just thinking, you know, we've sat down and talked about this as a team before quite a few times. We are really just thinking about our current position and we're thinking about the future.
Right.
As I say never. They could potentially come next year. Who knows? Right now, it doesn't fit our current balance.
Right now. But maybe in the future.
Maybe in the future, yeah. Long story short,
telling me there's a chance.
TLDR, right now, no. Future, potentially.
All right.
I'd be very surprised if they were to even pass anyway.
That's the thing. Obviously, there's a lot of people in the stream who are shouting yes, Dragon Claws, but there's equally a lot of people shouting no, Dragon Claws.
They're just
some
not
people
as
are saying
vocal.
biased. We have to be biased in some respects. We have to be biased thinking about our future. We could give you all the best weapons tomorrow, and then the game could die 2 weeks later. We don't want that. You don't want that. We have to think about the balance of our game.
certain things like PvP armors, I'm 100% for, and I would push as much as I
Yeah,
could to see them in
I'm
the
perfectly
game.
happy to have PvP armors as well. But
I've been advocate of PvP armors for a very long time. We've
That
told
just
them to you
shows
twice.
Not
They haven't
everything
passed.
we want
Pure
happens.
armors. I love pure armors.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's, you know, we have our own opinions of what we like in the game, but we can't just, you know, put what we want in the game and not what you want, and equally vice versa. So
I think if we could, there'd only be 4 skills left because we'd have all have taken 2 or 3 out.
exactly.
Well, that's why Oswald's so great, is because these guys have a say rather than us, and you know we have our opinions. It doesn't matter if we're biased; it's completely pointless because you guys say yes or no, not us.
And for me, it would just be interface jobs all over the place.
And for those saying poll it, we're not even going to be polling it at this time for the reasons we've just covered.
Right.
If we poll it and it doesn't come out, and it comes out as a no, a lot of people then shout repoll. A lot of people then shout repoll on a lot of things that failed. That would just render our polling system completely redundant and completely useless. We don't want that. If it passes right now, then like I say, we then start to enter a slight struggle. And as John pointed out, a lot of people will then start saying, well, now we've got Dragon Claws, you might as well give us Karasi. True, we might as well.
Yeah.
Do you want Karasi? Do you want Dragon Claws? Then do you want us to start developing a rebalancing combat for you? The answer to that is likely no. So, like I say, the balance
Right.
now, not suitable.
And that's eventually what pushed RS3 to the point where they had to add more hit points and all that, right?
Yeah,
That's not something we
absolutely.
want to see with 07.
And the abilities. They're asking for a straw poll. Might as well straw poll it.
We can straw poll
No
it.
reason
You'd
why
like to
not.
get for straw poll.
All right, I'm going to say 65%.
I reckon it would be closer to 70, yes.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
We-
based on the viewers.
Straw polls aren't
Well-
obviously accurate. We don't use them as a means of saying yes, we're definitely going to do this, or no, we're
Yeah.
not. But they are, you know, with the amount of viewers we have, and if it turns out to be something like 57% yes, we can roughly, or we can almost accurately assume that the majority of the game will also vote in the same way.
Okay.
So we'll see what it comes out as Ronan types it up.
So while we wait for the results on that, we've got a couple more questions here. This, I think we'll do one last one for our finale here. So this one is asking for a hard-hitting magic special attack weapon.
I would love one. I would
Yeah.
love Magic to actually for once have a special attack.
Yeah, I sat down with one of you at some point. We think we designed bounty hunter rewards. It might have been Ronan, yeah, and we spent a good few hours just trying to think of something that would even become viable. And because of the many diversities of the magic skill, it's very difficult to come up with something. I mean, we toyed with everything from something that hits twice with a second hit that does half damage, or something that slows you down like Miasmic used to. And we just couldn't sell on something that would both be useful but not ridiculously overpowered.
Right.
So if anyone's got any ideas, feel free to send them our way.
Okay.
Because I agree, Magic is lacking in its knockout blows, effectively.
Pretty sure the code supports it already with minor tweaking to make it supported better. So we could implement it if it were to pass.
I've wanted Magic to have a special attack option on a particular skill or staff for a very long time now. I think it'd be very nice if we finally found that niche that worked for it.
That would be really cool to see, actually. Yeah, so if you have any ideas, where do they send them?
Twitter, forums.
Tweet any of us, put it on our forums, like you say, put it anywhere on social media where we can see it. And
Okay.
we
Yeah.
do read social media all day, every day, so it's not... we just got the results from the poll back in, and no is ahead by how many votes?
1%.
1%.
Looks like people
51
listened.
to 49.
So this is, at the moment, we're seeing no
17,
and yes,
18
neck and
votes
neck.
between it. Yeah.
With, like you say, there's 56 votes for no, 645 votes for yes. That's 50-50. I mean, like I say, there's a lot of people saying, yes, we'd love Dragon Claws, shut up, stop saying no, just give them to us. Equally, there's a lot of people saying, don't you dare. So what do? Do we poll it to you and it vote no and then you never get them?
Yeah.
Do you want to take that risk, or do you want the game to be in a bit more of a stable balance where things like Dragon Claws might become necessary because AGS isn't good enough anymore?
I mean, that's what it boils down to. You know, if we poll it and it only gets 50%, it's unlikely we'll ever be able to poll it again because it's going to be nowhere near passing. So that's why we're not polling it now, because there is a chance it will be useful in the future.
There you go, guys. That was our ramble on Dragon Claws. You can expect to find a highlight on that on YouTube. Hopefully, I'll cut it down a little bit to the more...
You've got 15 minutes of editing to do.
Yeah. But for now, we've got just a few minutes left in the stream. We're going to do a bit of a special happy birthday to Mod
you haven't.
John C.
Oh, God.
As it is his birthday, so if we can get a happy birthday, I'm not going to encourage spam, but if you want to type in.
I was expecting music, but
I thought you were going to sing.
We didn't want to get
No,
we
we
didn't want to get
didn't-
the stream
We
muted.
didn't want
We
any
did.
copyrighted
to be
music.
fair, I've just seen the cake, so you might want to sing.
Your cake!
Yeah,
Oh, sweet.
we spent hours choosing this cake.
Yeah.
Did the entire team was
Yeah.
involved in it almost.
Actually, we both slaved really hard in the kitchen with
Yeah.
our 99.
They actually got me a cake and
Yeah.
everything.
A really nice.
And we thought this
Can we
one
show it on
would
stream?
some
Can we show it on stream first?
yeah. I'll show- show-
As modelled very well by James.
Don't drop it.
One Direction.
You got a One Direction cake?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
there we
I
go.
choose the. I don't even. What,
Go on,
what are the
James.
names?
Is it bad that I know all the names?
Oh no, that's
Yes.
terrible.
My friend's daughter is a huge One Direction fan, so when I have to buy
Yeah.
presents for things, I always have to buy One Direction. So I'm quite familiar with them.
Have cake.
I need picture first.
Is that edible?
What, the cake?
Will I get sick?
Well, it's... yeah.
I get sick eating a One Direction cake.
All right.
I'll tell you what. If we do, Mr. Tesco's is paying for it.
If you eat something that goes two directions, then you've got a real problem.
Yes. Yes.
All right. So again, happy birthday, Mod John C.
Thank
Yeah.
you, everyone, for the messages. The car on the table, by the way, I really wanted a Range Rover for my birthday, and my friend thought it'd be really funny to get a little remote control one. So, yeah.
That's why the car is there. In case you've been
It's
wondering.
really
the
awesome, actually. I
entire
love it. I've been
story.
driving it around the office, annoying people all afternoon.
All
I
right.
got told off by the graphics guys.
There's no surprise there.
They don't complain when there's Nerf darts going everywhere.
It's because they're involved. I was just like driving it into their chairs.
Yeah, the web system teams were very trigger happy today.
Right, let's have some cake.
Cake.
Okay.
Who wants one of these people?
I don't want no.
It feels bad knifing someone.
This seems violent.
I must admit, I've not had any experience in that, but yeah. I think I've got to take the thing off the
Yeah.
outside.
That would have been a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Maybe we ought to sign that and give that to one lucky player.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be horrible by something to see.
Does one player want a One Direction cake banner thing
We
signed
will
by the
do
old
the
school
cake
team?
first.
I think that's actually supposed to be worn as a headband.
Oh, yes. Or a necklace.
Yeah.
John likes the 1D.
Okay. So at,
You had to say it, didn't you?
at this point, the questions we're done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Someone have some cake. Who
So
wants
if
some
you guys want to tune in for
I'll
the
have
next
some cake, yeah.
Q&A, again, they're every day, 5 p.m. Thursdays. You can catch a highlight of this up on YouTube later today. And aside from
Thank you,
that,
John.
follow the Twitch channel.
Yes.
Yeah, next week's our last Q&A before Christmas.
Is that right?
Yeah, because the following Thursday is Christmas Day.
I think we've still got a Q&A on Monday as well, haven't we, James? Stream on Monday.
Year in review.
Yeah,
I
year
believe-
review on Monday with me and I think Phil's in there, Mod
Yep.
Pips is in there. I don't know if anyone else is coming. Joel's coming to join us as well. Don't know what his mod name is.
You having a
Talk some
slice?
numbers.
Yeah.
So come join us on Monday at
Small
5
size.
o'clock.
You can say you got ahead from One Direction.
Oh,
And,
okay.
So we'll have a Christmas special Q&A next week, guys. Be sure to tune in.
You can't be
Tune in
serious.
for that.
Special.
There's other people in the room. Come on.
It's a slice of cake.
Halve it.
Seriously.
I don't want any.
Really?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Well,
Anyway.
It's quite nice.
Yeah.
we're still live, aren't we? Hello.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah. So if we can do our outros.
Yeah.
Yep. All right.
I
Thanks for
can't
watching,
slice this
guys.
up, just eat it.
Yeah.
We'll see you next Thursday.
See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See ya.